Hey guys, I'm Robert. Bear is still one of my favorite apps for thinking, writing, and developing ideas. It's clean, fast, minimal, and a joy to use. I have a lot of different tools in my system, but Bear has always had a special place for me when I want to outline stuff, empty my mind, or just type anything down. This app has a lot of useful automation possibilities through shortcuts and its own URL scheme. But one thing we don't have yet is an official built-in AI integration. There are great AI tools that can use bare notes for context, like Super Whisper or Alter, which I have covered in other videos, but this is still different than having agent-type workflows with your notes like other apps do. As I have been exploring what AI can actually do for productivity and knowledge management, I figured I would try to come up with something that fills that gap. So today, I am excited to present Ursus. It's an app I built to bring AI into Bear in a way that feels intuitive, simple, and powerful. It's a collection of utilities and a local MCP with tools designed around how I use Bear. To be clear, there are other MCPs and AI integrations I have seen in the community. Some of them are great, but most of them seem too complicated for non-technical users, offer limited customization, or just didn't fit what I needed. Let me show you around. For the best experience, it's a good idea to keep Bear running in the background. Ursus includes a CLI for quick, handy automations like creating this note, which by default has an inbox tag, a specific layout, and stays separate from the main window. You can create this same kind of note anytime by prompting the AI. I will close this and dictate a request. Hey, I am planning to write a short article on ideas for integrating AI with note-taking and productivity. Please make me a note with a 5-bullet point outline that I can use to get started. You can use any app that works with MCPs, but I am using Alter here. It's a powerful assistant, but connected to Ursus, it can do some special stuff. As you can see, I got this separate note just like the one I showed you before with the result of my request. The cool thing is that now both me and the AI have access to this same note, so we can work on it together. For example, I can go in there, check the text, and if I notice that I want to change something, I will highlight it. There's also this other point that I'm not totally convinced about. Hey, I have highlighted 2 points I would like to change. How about you incorporate something about knowledge management instead? Make sure you remove those markers after you edit them. This is very different than simply dealing with context awareness. Here, the AI is working directly with the content, which allows for very precise edits. Let's do more. This is great. How about we start to expand this outline? I want you to look for content I've already got in other existing notes that we can incorporate here. Find one source for each point, link to it, and briefly explain the connection. Also, please clean up the structure and hierarchy to keep everything easy to scan. The reading happens directly from the database. The writing happens via Bear's URL scheme. Behind the scenes, content is being edited and sometimes replaced, which can feel a bit scary, so I have implemented a backup and snapshot system. Every time an editing operation happens, a snapshot of the previous state is created. That means that if you close the conversation or the note, you can still recover stuff. Hey, in my inbox, I got a note with a short outline about something related to productivity. Please open it for me. And I got another request. I have some highlighted text in there, but I lost it. Check the backups of the note and see if you can help me find that. This new chat doesn't have the history of my previous work, but it will check the backups and present those bullet points I replaced earlier. I can also ask the AI to take my note to the state of any of those snapshots. Great. Please restore that version. And now I'll be back to where I was. Bear doesn't have native version history, and I have lost important work because of that. You can undo with Command Z, but if you close the window or switch apps, you are stuck with that version. This that I showed you can work as a safety net. It's still meant to be a temporary backup system, not the same as built-in versioning, but for some cases it could be a lifesaver. I'll close this conversation, also the floating note, and go to the main Bear window. Those snapshots are also available via the CLI, so by running a simple keyboard maestro macro, I am back to the previous state. Something I find very useful is being able to target your selected node for actions. For example, hey, get my selected node, add an existing tag from my system that is relevant to the content, and then open that tag in Bear for me. The AI looks through my existing tags to find the good category. It will tag my node and reveal it for me to navigate across similar nodes that I can use in whatever project I am working on. I enjoy using Bear. That is why my process is usually a mix between me doing some manual work and then letting the AI help me here and there. And by the way, there's some things I will always offload to the AI because it will be a much better fit for the task. For example, if I only have a vague idea of something that I want to find, the AI can use Ursus to perform fast, complex searches across all my content. Most tools in this MCP allow for batch operations in parallel, so it can be very efficient. Of course, you can also use this without having to interact directly with a Bear application. For example, hey, look through all the notes in my inbox and tell me if I have any actionable tasks. I am trying to clean up and organize stuff that I've gathered in there. If you got something like Alter that has tools that connect to your calendar or reminders, you could work from this chat window to move tasks and content between multiple apps. I use Craft for task management, so I don't do much of that in Bear, but it's definitely an option. As you can see, there are a few things special about this tool I am sharing with you. One is the behavior of interacting with Bear itself and having the AI create, open, read, or edit notes based on your commands. Another thing that is built in is the use of a template, and by that I mean the specific design of created notes. Another aspect that I find very useful is having an inbox tag by default. Even though I have PARA for organization, which stands for projects, areas, resources, and archives, most of the time I don't want to think about what tag to give something. I just want to empty my thoughts and close the note, knowing that I can always jump to my inbox later to organize. Ursus is designed with this in mind, so you don't end up with untagged notes buried under other stuff. Now, even though I created this around my own needs, packaging everything in an actual app has allowed me to offer some user-friendly customization options. I didn't want to make this video only about the setup because I think it's very straightforward. Saving your Bear token is optional, but that's what allows you to target your selected node as I showed you. Before connecting the MCP with your preferred apps, I suggest taking a quick look at the preferences. This is where you set defaults like whether the node you create opens automatically. You can define your inbox tags or your template. By default, backups are set for 30 days. If you want to disable them, set this to 0. And you've got 22 different tools right now. Some AI applications don't let you disable individual tools when you add an MCP, so I thought it was a good idea to include toggles here. Once you have checked the preferences and the tools, you can install Ursus in your AI app of choice. If it appears here, it's a one-click install. If your app is not listed, you only need to run wish Ursus in terminal, and you can plug that path if your app supports local MCPs. I also included a remote MCP bridge to make things easier for some cases. This mounts the MCP through a local port, which is what I'm using with Alter since it doesn't support local MCPs. If you are an advanced user, you can also use this to connect something remote. And to keep things secure, if you ever decide to expose this connection online for websites like ChatGPT, I have implemented an authorization system here. If I click Manage Access, we can see that right now I have it connected to ChatGPT, Alter, and Cloud. ChatGPT and Cloud Web are connected via a Cloudflare tunnel. Again, that's a bit of a more advanced setup, but everything is there to make things easier if you are interested in exploring. Ursus is open source and completely free. If you try it out and find that it's useful to you, it would be awesome if you buy me a coffee, but if not, don't worry, you can still let me know if you run into issues or you have any questions. There are many workflows that can be powered by this, and if there's something specific where you would like me to dive deeper, I would love to hear it. Maybe I can make more content around this if you're interested. If you want to try Alter, you can also get 10% off with my code AFT. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember to follow my newsletter for more updates on what I'm up to. I'll see you in the next one.